Hello, everyone. Today I'd like to discuss with you some of the finer details of the Scopes trial of 1925, also known as the Scopes monkey trial. I think everybody has read something about it or knows a little bit about it at this point. The trial took place in Dayton, Tennessee, but even 100 years later, today, people see it as a prime example of the controversy that took place between fundamentalism and modernism. And that controversy still rages across the country. The trial was basically a battle between two famous lawyers. On the fundamentalist side, you had William Jennings Bryan, who was a three-time presidential candidate. He was prosecuting the case against John Scopes. And then you had Clarence Darrow, the defense attorney, also a civil liberties advocate. He was fighting for John Scopes, the defendant. John Scopes was accused of violating Tennessee's Butler Act, which made it illegal to teach human evolution in a state-funded school. The fundamentalist team, we'll call it, was led by Bryan. He basically saw the trial as a duty to protect the moral and spiritual foundation of America. If you look at the media from around the trial, you'll see how it was viewed across the country. One article in particular came from the New York Times early in July of 1925. William Jennings Bryan quotes himself, he says, and he was quoted in the article, that this legal action was a duel to the death for the Bible. He saw evolution basically as a corrosive, godless force that threatened to dismantle Christian society. Bryan was defending literal scriptural authority against what he saw as arrogant claims of modern science. The fundamentalist argument was basically about defending the Bible as an absolute authoritative source for truth. And in his mind, that was whether you were talking about science or history, it didn't matter. The Bible was the absolute truth. The modernist secular view did not see this trial as a noble defense. They saw it as an embarrassment, really. Clarence Darrow and his allies, they were fighting for academic freedom, and they wanted people to have the right for science to determine the curriculum in the classrooms. There's another article in the Seward Daily Gateway from July 11th of 1925. It refers to the entire proceeding as a farce. A pretty strong word when you're talking about a trial. It mocked the religious motivations of the prosecution and criticized Tennessee as being backwards for its anti-evolution law, the Butler Act. The modernist perspective was basically trying to establish the authority of scientific inquiry and rationality over tradition. They rejected the idea that religious literalism should dictate public education. Clarence Darrow's famous cross-examination of Bryan about biblical inconsistencies basically gave his argument a great deal of credibility. Trial became a huge spectacle across the country. It was actually the first court case to have portions broadcast live on radio. The result was turning Dayton into a giant circus flooded with journalists from all over the world. There was an article in the Evening Star on July 22nd that detailed the results of the trial after this broadcast. Reporters were telegraphing stories around the world. It wasn't just in the United States that people were interested in this and the repercussions about the debate. While Scopes was found guilty and fined, the conviction was later overturned on a technicality. The Butler Act remained on the books for decades, and William Jennings Bryan even died 5 days after the trial. The Scopes trial did not settle the fundamental modernist controversy. Instead, it just expanded the battlefield. This debate continues today as controversial as